Okay.
Hi, everyone. My name is
Hi.
Abiola, and this is Mama Kim, Min K, also known as
Mink on the
Mink.
mic, y'all. Minister K.
And this is Mink Squared. Now, there have been a lot of conversations going on that have kind of been very agitating when it comes to the TikTok ban. And so we are going to talk about some of them because I feel like there is just a lot of in general ignorance happening. Oh, hey, y'all. Ignorance happening when it comes to the ban, and especially when it comes to adults being like the biggest leaders of the conversation. So this is going to be a little bit less formal. Mama's gonna eat. I'm gonna be doing some chaotic stuff.
Yeah.
Per usual. I
Sorry,
told
y'all.
y'all.
We're going to keep it real like we almost always do. If you don't like to see me eating, you don't want me to say what I was going to say. It's a Sunday. We bless you today. We're not going to be as nasty as we can be. We're going to be loving and full of grace. But we're also going to keep it real because there are some people who really are not respecting young people's positions and feelings right now. And I know we all have a way of being very disdainful of our young people, but if anything, the actions they took when it came to um, turning things around and trying to run their own, not interference, but their own interactions with elections, with social issues like what was the one?
Hold on, I'm gonna stop.
I'm just don't stop because we can. Okay. She said I'm talking too much. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make is, we really just want to make sure that everybody understands why we're here, and it has to be that somebody has a healthy respect for our young people. And when I say young people, anybody 35 and under, 30. And I say that because, I've got a 30.
Oh, thank you.
They
said Mama's pretty.
Oh, thank you, because I have nothing on my face but this zit. But anyway, um, um, Timmy is what, 32? Is Timmy 32 yet?
I don't know. I'm going to interrupt really
no,
quickly
I don't, because I want you to understand what I'm talking about. Age groups. The reason I'm including people that are a little older is because I have young people that age. Even Jazzy, who is old as hell now, 34. I need y'all to understand those young people still have valuable opinions. Um, they still have a voice that we need to listen to. And quite often we discount these young people from 35 all the way down to 5 years old. Now, under 5 years old, I'm not really hearing you because you're just talking in your candy.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm going to cut you off for a second.
Okay, the old people are rambling too.
Well,
so we go to
she's taking too long in the intro. And so I don't want to lose people because that's not how people.
Intro. Why we need an intro? We just
no, it's not about a big intro, but you're talking too long at the beginning.
We just talking period,
and you're talking about people that these people don't know. So
y'all know, y'all seen the videos, you've seen these.
No, they haven't.
Yeah, they haven't.
No, they haven't.
They haven't seen Timmy.
Mom, please stop.
Oh.
It's like getting on here and being like, my best friend Martha, you all know we went shopping last week. Nobody knows who the hell Martha is. So anyways, I'm trying, and you have to look over here. I am being rude, Miss Shelley. I'm sorry. I'm sorry,
Miss Shelley. All the kids are that way.
Anyways, Miss Shelley, I will put you. Miss Shelley wants to hop on a little bit. We're on like 4 platforms, so I'll have like a thingy in a little bit to where you guys will be able to like say something where it'll be heard. So it'll be in a little bit. I was enthralled. I'm sorry. She said, "We know Martha. Y'all are stupid." Okay, I'm sorry, but I will give. Let me. I'm sorry.
As long as I can eat my breakfast, I'm good.
Okay, let me say first, some quality content. Hey, babe. So let me say first a little explanation, and then I will not be mean to Mama.
You mean background?
So background is yes. So TikTok got banned. If you don't understand, basically what happened was 4 years ago, Donald Trump. 5 years ago, Donald Trump started pushing for TikTok to get banned. He didn't like it, all these complaints, yada, yada, yada. And he started the movement in people's minds to ban the app. And so after that, it ended up basically, even after he first left office, becoming just like this little seed in people's minds. And so people held on to it and they were like, ooh, maybe we should ban it, especially because TikTok helped lead a lot of the mass movements in the last few years. It's a predominantly young platform. Everybody uses it though, like literally everybody. You've got 80-year-olds that have, you know, 1 million followers that know how to use it.
Just saying it's widely used.
Yes, like love it. But the biggest audience that it was made for was after Musical.ly. Musical.ly was an app that did this really cheesy dance trends that I absolutely hated when I was in middle school. But it turned into TikTok. So the audience was young. And so the House ended up passing a bill to ban it because they said it is so dangerous, so scary. And so after that, the Senate wasn't necessarily going to pass it. They weren't sure, but it got attached.
They didn't own any stock.
Well, no, it got attached to a bill writer. And so what happens with a bill writer is somebody will say, if you want, I don't know, it's like
it was thrown in.
Think of like a forced coupon, right? It's like they're saying, okay, if you want $3 off nachos, you got to buy a hot dog for $1. Yeah. That's how they do that when it comes to bill writers. Example. So I don't want to say that the senators all had to vote for it. The Congress people, no room. But the senators, some of them kind of were iffy. Biden signed it into law because he's petty. And now, after people have begun to realize that a lot of people are getting pissed off and that they also could use it, because these same people that voted to ban it,
they all want to backtrack.
These same people that voted to ban it, a lot of them have TikTok accounts.
Not
and they used it for their campaigns.
The thing is, let's go into the conspiracy theory part. And I say that because I don't have any proof for what I'm saying per se. I just have good common old sense. And so when you have senators that own shares in the competitors of TikTok, and that's not conspiracy, that's something that's public record. When you have senators and House of Reps people and other people that are influential in terms of this vote, and they own shares in the competition, it's just common sense that, oh, sure, you know, if I owned stock in Pepsi, of course I would want you to take Coke out, because that means everybody's going to come and buy Pepsi, even if they don't really like it. For instance, Instagram, Facebook versus TikTok. Even if you don't really like it, because I've gotten you addicted to this format of drink, you're going to come on over to Pepsi and I'm going to make some more money. So truly, I think that that's what we ended up with, was people that had stock in the competition of TikTok ended up voting to take it out because they're dirty, rotten, greedy bastards. They just are, you know. I mean, you have to think of these people who are already egomaniacs. They're, as a politician, and I've done this for years, y'all, you know, the things I could tell y'all that are embarrassing about people who I've put in office would tell you about what I know in politics. But anyhow, these politicians, they start off as egomaniacs in the first place. Okay, you really have to have a real self-serving, nepotistic, because you feel kind of you're entitled, ego for 90% of the politicians that we see now. Girl, stop messing with my stuff.
No, I'm moving over here.
Why
you keep looking the wrong direction.
I'm
also, this looks better.
It
looks better over here.
I have all three platforms.
Yeah, but that one's not.
When I look crazy, it's because I'm trying to give everybody attention.
No.
Right?
That one doesn't matter. Ain't nobody there.
So,
these people.
There are people here. Don't say that.
They ain't there.
Y'all.
No, they're not.
You.
No, they're
There's
not.
people there.
No, they
were there. Anyway, since I have worked very closely with some of the most powerful politicians who you guys hate, who are still in office, I know how they operate. I know how they think. And it takes a lot of ego just to be a politician. It takes a lot of greed. It takes a lot of mental obstinance.
So I'm a pause there because this is a really important point. This past year, you know, a lot of you all know that we've worked across a lot of fields. My mom's done all the things, but this past year, a lot of the conversation that people had when it came to like presidents and like being immoral, I had to explain to them, right? Like I worked with both parties. Nobody is harder on Democrats than me. I don't even identify as a Democrat. I haven't for a long time. But people that were saying, hey, like, this is the party of immorality, this and this. And they were like, hey, this other candidate is running for president. I was like, do you understand that to me, if you're running for president, you are running to be in charge of weapons of mass destruction and you know it? You are running with an ego the size of the universe. So the fact that you're running for president, to me, says a lot about you. And some people don't like that because they're like, but, and I'm like, you think you should lead the country.
The world.
the free
America.
world.
We're not trying to be nasty with that, y'all, but you know we are the leaders of the free world. We were. You never know where we're gonna end up now.
I don't know about we were either.
But
oh, that squirrel has the prettiest tail.
Anyhow, see squirrel. But anyway, you have to understand when you're dealing with these politicians that the fact that they're already so self-aggrandizing and and conceited or arrogant, whatever you want to call it, and then you add money to the mix. So then you stir up the little bit of greed, and you turn that greedy monster on, and you'll end up with a situation. Not TikTok, yes. But there's so much more that's buried deeper than we can ever imagine. We're all a bunch of
thank you,
buffoons,
other Shelly. She says
you
nice
know.
chairs.
Yeah,
we got two Shellys on.
Yay. So you know, there's so much more that goes on politically with these people who are influenced by their own ability to make money off of their vote. You shouldn't be surprised. You shouldn't be shocked that TikTok was banned because so many people are being influenced by Meta and the competitors of TikTok, they did forget that they have CapCut accounts, and so I'm having fun enjoying people not being able to edit their own videos because they don't know how to use any of the Pro Tools, and so they don't know how to use any of Premiere Pro Tools, so they have to edit their own videos now because they were so greedy in trying to make money off of Meta that while they're doing their own platforms, they cut their hand off and now they've spited their face.
But from there, what I want to focus on, because we're not really trying to spend like the whole background talking about like, you know, the politicians or whatever. I think that's the least important in this conversation because no. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is everybody, I think, has speculated forever about, you know, the politicians, this and that. But what's most important to us that we were talking about this morning, which is why she even suggested this on what she's saying, is that a lot of adults, people I respect as well, intellectuals, all of these other things have been saying, like, it's not that important of a platform anyways.
Well, they were saying it's a distraction. A lot of people are
it's been both.
That TikTok is a distraction. And thank God for being 54 years old. Because I remember when the television was labeled the same way.
But there are a lot of people,
it was a distraction. It was the one-eyed demon. Did you guys know they used to call television the one-eyed demon? And I remember that everybody was against television. And it's the same thing with TikTok. You have a lot of people who, because that is not their platform, supposed educators and politicians.
Okay, so let me pause right there.
And ministry people. If you don't have any viewers on TikTok, you have a lot of trash talk. But I've never seen a person with 200,000 or 300,000 followers on TikTok declare how bad it is.
There are a couple of them. But so first I want to say, like, what I was saying before that is that there are people that I respect across multiple disciplines. You know, there are people that are researchers, teachers, you know, educators, depending on how you determine the different things, scientists. And a lot of them have been like online today saying, some of them I really love and respect too, have been saying, hey, like, it's not that serious. I think TikTok was bad. I've seen a lot of teachers say that TikTok ruined their students' ability to think. And there are a couple of factors of that have really kind of been pissing me off. Hold on, let me finish.
BS.
There have been a couple of factors about that have been pissing me off. And I have to
be careful, y'all. As a minister, I have to say BS. I can't say what I really. So my bad side tells me.
So there are a couple of factors of that really irritate me that I think are important. And one of them is that people keep blaming TikTok for distractions. I've seen, again, multiple posts that are like, hey, the last like 8 years, 6 years, 2 years, you know, nobody's been focusing attention spans. And I'm like, do y'all not understand? Almost none of these people have been psychiatrists. And I think that's really important. Some have been therapists, but almost none of them have been psychiatrists, because the APA has been saying not only have suicide rates tripled in the last 20 years for kids and especially Black students, but in the last 3-4 years, depression has increased. And they've actually shown that communities like TikTok, other forms of community, have kept people at a healthy mental health level. So when these same people are saying, oh, like, it's ruining my students, you know, whatever, I'm like, you guys do understand that everybody wasn't on TikTok, right? There are a lot of people on TikTok. Everybody's not on TikTok. But also, with that being said, there's so many other modes of low attention skills that people have been saying. Gaming, like, people said that gaming was ruining people's attention skills. And one thing,
and now gaming is being used to teach people like how to play the piano. You know, sometimes your hand-eye coordination, it's a really important facet of your ability to grow and mature and navigate. And I may not play a whole bunch of video games because we just couldn't afford them growing up. So I never developed into a gamer
You're out of
of
the
any
age group.
kind. No, there were people who had Atari and Sega systems.
No, but those people
and,
aren't gamers.
Well,
really.
a lot of
people
them
that played video
they
games.
turned into gamers because they could afford the games.
Well,
We couldn't
people still
afford
aren't
the
gamers.
games, y'all.
They're
You
not
know,
gamers.
food stamps didn't pay for Sega.
Oh, God.
Anyway, I have to say, because of those types of hand-eye coordination issues and things, it made people, I think it made people better. I think it helped people who had ADD or ADHD. It may have helped them to get out of that. So you can't just say, oh, the gamers and this and that. We have a lot of people who, once again, are self-serving in their critique of these things.
The biggest thing that I want to like really hone in on and focus on, though, is like to go further into that, is that people have blamed this. And what's funny is I realize a lot of the people, number one, that have been saying a lot of these, people in this population, most of these people have been like 38 to like 50. That's been the biggest crowd that's kind of making fun of this. And number one,
and
almost none of
they
them
are almost always self-serving.
That's not the point.
They're not concerned about the
That's not what I'm trying to
students.
drive home. I don't agree
That's
with
my
that.
point.
I don't agree with that.
My point is that it doesn't feel
I don't think they're self-serving necessarily. I think they just don't know what they're talking about because they don't value it the same way. So
I
those
feel
people,
they have something to gain.
So those people, if you notice, are a certain age group, and most of them didn't have more than like 1,000 followers on TikTok. Number one, and I'm not trying to like shade anybody. But on top of that, a lot of them don't seem to know that Vine existed. And I think that's one thing that makes me question their validity on any of this, is because some of you may not know Vine was a platform I grew up with in middle school, one of my favorite platforms. You could only put 6-second videos on there. People blew up. Some of the same people that y'all used to seeing, I always forget his name, but and he irritates me to death. But y'all, if you look up like Black comedians, he comes up all the time. He's very irritating. He's got big eyebrows, square head, and he like became famous long term off of Vine. So when people are like, oh, it's because of the short videos, I'm like, I think y'all don't know what you're talking about, because none of these people are brought up Vine. And I'm like, if you don't bring up Vine when you're talking about attention span ruining things, and Vine was heavily used by the US, like heavily, like in almost everybody on TikTok that recognizes some of this recognizes Vine. And so it's like, if you're not bringing that up, I think it already questions what you're talking about, because you can't argue with me that 6-second videos aren't worse for attention span than 1 minute to 10 minutes. So that's one thing I want to bring up. You don't remember the name. I don't remember his name. He irritates me to death, though. Y'all, if you know about big Black Viners, literally, y'all already know who I'm talking about. I just can't remember his name because he's so agitating. But like, that's one of those things. So I don't agree that it's self-serving, but I do think that there's a lot of ego involved right now. And I think part of that is that a lot of these folks feel like, okay, we're brilliant people, right? Most of these people I'm talking about are brilliant. And they're like, hey, like, we know that this is bad for kids. And I'm like, do you really though? Because if you didn't even use the platform enough to say like, oh, everybody was watching silly things. King Bach, that's his name. That man irritates me to death.
Y'all so quick and smart. I was trying to find it, but I'm slow.
Yeah, King Bach. I'm sorry. I mean, you're not that slow. It's
look at
you know,
guys.
King Bach. Yeah, that man irritates me. He's established like an entire career off of Vine. Oh, okay. Aside, because y'all all have ADHD and I love it. They said, what is mom eating? Mom is eating. Sorry, I forgot. Gerard asked that too. She's eating. Is that goat meat?
We're eating goat meat, y'all.
No, is that goat meat or is that cow foot?
There was goat meat here, but I finished.
Where's the goat meat?
It's gone. We'll have more tonight. I'll make some more later. But anyway, my husband was hungry, y'all, so I had to make something to eat.
She made goat meat and didn't make.
I'm taking my Zepbound, so I lose my appetite and I haven't been eating as much.
No, don't have any sympathy for her. She ate the goat meat.
I made some more later. There's some in the freezer.
This woman knows I hate cow foot. I hate it. And she ate
the
goat meat. Oh, hey, Ziggy, babe.
Hi, Ziggy.
Oh, look at that excitement. I'm going to have some people talking a little bit.
Are you okay, Ziggy? If you're not, you know you can call
Ziggy
me.
is one of my friends who had huge I don't even remember. How many followers did you have on TikTok? Like 1 million, I think. But, you know, and Ziggy has consistently gone like viral over the years. I didn't even remember until somebody shared like a little overview of the last couple of years, and I saw some videos and I was like, oh my God, I forgot. Like, this is one of those first moments where like we all saw Ziggy.
Ziggy is the defender of the faith. Ziggy is the defender. Don't mess with Ziggy, y'all.
Ziggy will bring these hands.
Ziggy will come and get you.
Virtually.
Thought Abby did a read on that last little post she did? Honey, Ziggy does better than read. Ziggy will show up at your house. So,
1.5 million. 1.5 million.
Don't mess with Ziggy.
And so like we've gone all around everything we've been talking about, but like that's the thing.
I can get back to the main subject. The main subject that really kind of
we're talking about the people's conversations around it.
Well,
that's
the thing what ticked me off about those conversations was the fact that people are being really lofty about these young people's feelings, and they're basing their opinions in what to me is self-serving. You can't say, oh, my students weren't doing well and they weren't paying attention all because of goddamn talk. That just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make sense at all, because everything is a distraction. That bird out there on the tree is a distraction. The music that we hear driving down the street is a distraction. So everything can be a distraction. If you're a good teacher and you're meant to teach and you grasp your students' attention, no matter what tools you use, you will be able to reach your children and teach them. Don't give me that BS about
some of them are just bad teachers.
Yeah. There's a lot of professors and teachers who are out there because they want to talk and they have something to say, but they really aren't meant to be teachers. They're just not meant to be teachers.
Or they just want one type of student.
Or they wanted a good job with benefits.
Shelly, I turned the notifications off. Sorry, the notification ping was on.
Maybe they wanted to have a job where they could be on the same schedule as their children. Okay. And that's the truth of it. A lot of teachers are just crappy teachers. And a lot of people are professors because they want the name professor because they have a PhD. Well, guess what? I got one too, but I'm not about to be a professor right now, because if I can do more here rather than trying to be greedy and go out and get paid and act like I'm so-and-so, then let's do that. And I do believe that's what TikTok and Instagram and YouTube does for people. I believe it allows people to become educated and sometimes bypass crappy professors. Mm-hmm. And that's why a lot of professors out there talking because you're not that good.
Yeah.
You're not that good.
Or they only want students that are already prepared. They want students that are already prepared to sound and act
that
like
means
students.
You didn't do your job. What?
They want students that are already prepared to act like students.
What's that? What you playing? Y'all, I can't see.
So that's the other thing is I think
I don't have my glasses on.
Some of them aren't
get my glasses.
Some of them aren't capable of like actually, engaging on that level.
Yeah, but truly.
Oh my God, Ziggy just sent a request.
Yeah, put him in. It don't matter. Come on, boy.
Okay, hold on.
She trying to get you, but the words keep moving.
I hope people will be able to hear it though.
They may not be able to hear me either. Is this working right?
Yeah, it's working. Okay. Look.
Sorry, y'all. I just messed the sound up by moving the mic, but that's minked on the mic. Anyway,
I don't know if I did this right.
There he is. Hey, how you doing? We see you. Are you okay today? You got it in perspective?
Do I have any new perspective?
Do you have it in perspective?
Oh, I've been there.
Okay. Because I was worried about a lot of you guys last night. I don't normally make all these posts and all this stuff, but last night I only made a post because I was like, please, babies, please don't let this be more than it is. So
yeah, I mean, you heard part of what we were talking about. So
I had like a moment where I was like, because I knew that was gonna happen anyway. I was gonna be upset because it was mostly like the community aspect, but also I have so many videos that I filmed weeks ago with like time stamps. I'm like, so you can see my phone right now says like every single prediction that I said.
Wow.
It isn't. So I'm just over here. I'm like, I think the biggest thing at least that I've been paying attention to with like how people have been responding to this whole TikTok ban thing is how susceptible we are to be manipulated and how much easier than we think it is.
Oh yeah.
And I was just having lots of conversations with the folks. Like, do you know like Crunches and Spice? Her name's Amani.
Yes.
So we FaceTime it, okay? We chit chat, we talk, yeah. And we were talking about how like being two comms professionals, how people always say like, oh, like you must have psychic powers. I'm like, no, we just have pattern recognition. Like we see what's in front of us and we work with that.
God forbid somebody on TikTok be intelligent, huh?
I'm excited. I'm just excited to like have more conversations on lives about it because I want to know what people think. I was more upset because I'm like, there goes my community, there goes my check.
Yeah, and you know what? And mind you, it's not. I don't consider the fact that this is your source of revenue.
Sorry, YouTube, I'm trying to fix
I don't consider it the same as someone who's going against TikTok because they don't understand it and they have a way of making their income. When you have made your living off of TikTok and they've taken that away, it's different for you to fight for it, especially when your living involves saving lives. When your living is making a difference in a demographic that everybody else has pushed to the side, that nobody really cares about, that everybody just kind of waves away and say, oh, the young people, they're stupid. Oh, the young people, they're lazy. Oh, the young people, this or that. Well, you know, I have to say that there have been a few waves of action lately that have really given me new perspective on what we would have termed as the lazy young people, and you save their lives. And that could be a tool of the devil where they want you not to have the influence that you have in order to save those people's lives. Maybe we want them lost. And that sounds really bad, but it makes sense that somebody out there, some element may want the young people lost and wandering and vulnerable so that they can do bad things to them, and you keep them focused. You know, I mean,
also that's why I really YouTube, let me know if y'all can hear things correctly. But that's why I really lament the idea that people keep saying online where they're like, oh, you know, it's like nobody's learning anything. And I'm like, do y'all like, that's what told me that some of them just got on the app and never used it. So they just saw random stuff. I'm like, yeah, if you got on and all you saw were, you know, videos of like animals, and not the fun videos, but like the stupid videos that like aren't really that great because somebody just filmed them in 2 seconds and like it's not that good, or they got on and they just saw white podcast bros. I'm like, that's how I know that you didn't actually spend time, because I have 12-year-olds like asking about anti-racism, like reading the books I mail to them. So when they're like, nobody's learning, I'm like, they're literally coming on here talking about the toxic relationships that they're in. They're coming on here asking whether or not they hate their hair because of how they've been socialized. I'm like, there's nobody I know, whether it's the kids that just sit around doing Renegade, those kids still got on to learn things on other platforms. Like I've never seen any teenager to like 22, because that's the demographic I feel like is being shat on the most right now, that did not also learn things on the app. And so I really hate it when people that are of this age group keep being like it was just a distraction. It's a distraction to you because you can't meet it because you're not trying to.
You don't get it.
It's because you couldn't hack it, because if you were on there, there's maybe 2-3 people, because she was saying nobody over a certain following was complaining. I know maybe 2-3 accounts that had complained a little bit, being like, maybe we're happy TikTok is gone. And one of them, from a legal perspective, her name's Elizabeth Booker, which, you know, everybody's seen Elizabeth Booker Houston because that's a baddie. And she wasn't saying she's happy it's gone, but she was like, listen, it's been very frustrating as a Black creator on here. So she has mixed feelings. That's one thing.
I get it.
Francesca Ramsey has been kind of like, that's a different thing, because neither of those people are flat out being like, ha ha ha, this apple's dumb.
No. They're saying, go ahead.
Yeah.
No, I was gonna say they're not laughing in people's faces, because I'm mutual with Francesca, and like she reached out to me like multiple times. I'm like, when people, they dog walk her for fun, and
that's the part.
Like when I heard her talk about how she felt about it, just kind of like being like, she recognizes, like, for me personally, it's kind of like, okay, but for the grand scheme, it's kind of like, yo. But I'm like, y'all, she's been in this business, writing, doing things for studios, like working on it for 20 years. Like, she has an established career like in this industry, so she sees how wishy-washy it is. She sees all the ins and outs that we don't see. And I'm also telling people, I'm like, however you want to project that onto your creators on the internet, you still see a curated portion of a curated section of life.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you, oh, these people.
Yeah.
She don't know these.
And neither of these girls have made fun of people. Like,
but
that's
no, I
them.
like their perspective though. In fact, that they're saying it's kind of nasty, like what I do in terms of, oh, I'm glad they're losing anyway because they weren't fair to us. Isn't that basically what they're saying?
What the haters are doing.
that they were the platform sometimes is an open door for people to actually come at us, and so you may not want that to exist. But the good part about them, as well as our current president, is that you get to see the truth. You get to see the ugly. You get to see how disappointingly evil people really are. It's really disgusting how bad people can really be when they think nobody's looking. You're gonna say the things you just said to him. You're gonna say the things you just said to her, but you wouldn't say it in their face. So the truth of the matter is, if we're here and you're gonna talk trash about me, but you can't do it in my face, it tells me who you really are.
Also, personally, trolls on Instagram are much worse than TikTok. You get, maybe to me at least, 1 or 2 people on TikTok will say, like, they'll call you the N-word, they'll say something crazy. It happens a little bit. On Instagram, the amount of, that's why I had to start doing the clapbacks on Instagram. The amount of racist comments,
it's really bad.
Like, it's so much worse to me than on TikTok. So much worse.
Granted, it's slowed down a lot for me, because I've seen the stuff that people send you. It slowed down a lot for me, but granted, you look how you look.
Yeah, see the reality. He's saying the dark-skinned, bald-headed girl gets a little more flack.
Surprising, isn't it?
Y'all, the truth hurts.
Like,
what's that girl's name that didn't like it when you said it? Was that Amanda Seales? Girl, she said something about colorism, and Amanda Seales said something nasty to her and then blocked her. Amanda Seales didn't want to tell the truth. She didn't want to speak the truth about colorism because she's benefited from it. And instead of her saying, you know what, my sisters, I'm going to take my benefit and I'm going to bring us all up, all boats will rise. She didn't want to do that. She just wanted to say, it doesn't exist. That's not real. And I was like, you poor thing. It's okay. The house Negro mentality is real.
That's not the here. Yeah, you're right.
But it's
also, it's a lot for me because I'm just like, oh, y'all don't understand. I have the mouth and the hands to match.
Yeah.
Like I text. You had me cracking. You said, "Diggy, the defender of the faith." That was so funny.
That's what I was pointing to, but it went away.
Because together, you and me. Yeah, no. Let somebody say something crazy. I'm just
yeah.
I've been waiting for this.
The video I posted about white people and lice on Instagram. There was this boy, right? And like, again, we know that there are people who are like whitewashed or whatever. This boy had a Mexican flag in his bio, but he looks like he was born and raised in Mexico, right? Like, we know there are people sometimes that look like where they're from. They look like they really like grew up in their culture. So it made me mad whenever on the video I posted about white people and lice, he commented, oh, like something, but oh, I can fight or meet up with you or something. Like, so I commented, drop the Addy.
Yeah, like meet me outside. We're like, okay.
I said, I'm in Texas. Where are you? And then he just, all of a sudden, I think he deleted his comment and then just vanished. Because I was like, hey, like I reached out. I was like, when do you want to meet? Because you're trying to threaten me, being like, oh, but I think what he said was, you're saying all that, but like, I can
whoop your ass
or something.
That's what he was saying.
And I'm like, yeah, and it was like,
no,
understand.
We're not. The sad thing is, having sons who are trainers, big, huge, muscle-bound, beautiful, men, and being in the gyms a lot and being around them, you get to see the attitude of people who sometimes don't have anything else to offer. And so I think that young man was saying, well, I may not be too smart and I may not be cute, but I'm strong and I can beat you. And it was like, dude, is that all you got?
It's like, because I'm cute and I'll whoop your ass.
Is that all you have? Yeah. But that's what people love. You serve it up well. And so now with them playing games, and this is the truth of it, they are playing. Somebody asked me last night, Dr. Patrick Bradley, who is a world-renowned gospel composer, right? And a director. He turned around in a church last night because I was singing in the church. And so he turned around and he looked at me. He said, what do you think is going to happen with TikTok? And I love the fact that he asked. He is a teacher, but the fact that he cared enough to just say, I'm concerned about the young people. it made me sit there in church and think about it, because the fact that these people, these billionaires, and let's go back to talking about these billionaires, they care so little for the emotional stability of our young people. They care so little that they would do this tug of war and play this game with you guys' emotions. For me, I didn't think they would
Mr.
actually close
Bradley.
it.
Sorry, I had to
But when
Google to
it-
make sure I knew what
Yeah. So when they actually did it last night, I would just remember sitting on the bed going, man, I'm worried about the young people. And these people care so little. They care so little for you guys that they would actually just play tug of war with what is a lifeline. And that's not fair. I don't know how we can do it. I would love to figure out a way to kind of get back at them for that. And there has to be a way to do it financially, because it's like, don't play with us. Don't play with these people, because this is our future. You guys are our future. You're everything to the world. What do we have without our fruit? You guys are our good fruit. So what do we have if we play games with you and we damage you? And then 30 years from now, you guys are killing people and doing all this crazy stuff, and we're the ones who did the damage. What does that do for us? And so I would love to figure something out. I don't know how, Ziggy, I don't know how you are still trying to find a way to check up on your people. 1 million people look to you.
1.5 million.
What does that mean? How do you say y'all all right? That's okay. That's one of my daughters. That's Abby's sister, y'all.
Play sister.
That's that. I silenced her. Don't worry about it. She good.
I think and also we can have a whole FaceTime conversation about it later if you want. But I think like one of the big things that made me like super emotional last night, like I was crying because I was very emotionally drawn out, because it was like that tug of war.
Yeah.
Like, I need you to make up your mind, because the uncertainty is eating me up. But I was crying a lot because I don't really open my like filtered requests on this app very often, because I get so many people like they're gonna drop the hard R, the F slur or whatever, like all this like nasty stuff, right? And yesterday I was getting bombarded, and in my email, like I have a business email, like just for all like my media stuff, I had messages and messages and messages and messages and messages of people sharing how they used my pages and my content to help them through really dark times. I was a mess.
Yeah.
I was crying.
Yeah.
There was a gentleman who he's just gonna stay anonymous, but he is turning 68 this year. And he followed me. He's like, I'm a very silent follower on TikTok.
Yeah.
I've never done anything. He's followed me for 4 years. And he finally, for the first time, asked a man out on a date because he felt comfortable enough after seeing how I carry myself to come to the fact I can't pretend to be straight anymore. And he went on this date, and he was like, they were writing to each other, and they went to a photo booth, and it was the cutest thing. That in particular had me tore up. I was like
68.
So like stories that kind of remind me and kind of forced me to think of social media beyond like we're just here because it's fun. Like no, it's really opening.
There we go.
For me to realize I'm like I have an impact to some people that I'll never know, like that I don't even know.
That's right.
About, but the fact I felt comfortable enough and like compelled to share that with me and what we thought was gonna be like the final hours on this community.
And you know what? We need to make a separate video about that.
But wait a minute. You know what? And this is what's funny. Abby, what's the young man's name? He's Carlton Banks.
Oh, I
there's
don't really
a gospel comedian, right?
Not Carlton Banks.
Not Carlton Banks, right? And I was in a press media thing with him at the Stellar Awards. And I remember saying, baby, I just love you. And he kind of gave me this look. And I said, you're so funny. I said, and guess what? I love the fact that you're making a difference in young people's lives. And he just stopped. And I said, oh yeah, I'm old and I'm a minister and I'm going to say it. I said, because you have a bigger pulpit than most of the mega preachers. And we stopped right there in that room and had a conversation, because most people don't get the fact that your pulpit that you have right there And mind you, we need to stay the hell out of people's bedrooms, okay? Because some of the mega preachers, you go in their bedrooms, you're gonna be shocked. But anyway, if we stay out of people's bedrooms and we do what God has called us to do, just do what God is telling you to do. You're a bigger preacher. You're a bigger preacher than most of our big preachers. Now Carlton Bank, he has a bigger pulpit and a bigger platform where he can bring more people to God than anybody else out there preaching, pretty much. And it's crazy to think that people are going to disrespect him for whatever reason. And so with who is the other young man? There was a young man that also canceled his page a week and a half ago. Well, huh? What?
So so my mom is talking about Evan. Evan is non-binary.
Oh, sorry, y'all. Evan, I don't mean any harm. I can't. I have to. I get all the words mixed up, right? Check my heart. Don't check the words. But
so Evan, the bioethicist, brilliant, has a master's in disinformation and misinformation as a threat to public health. And so it's like a very, very brilliant, literally brilliant, like one of those, again, a brilliant baddie, as I like to say.
Brilliant person.
And so they deleted their account because the whole Beyonce thing and everything
because
that erupted.
Of some BS.
They
some BS. I'm like, why would you delete your account over some woman and some nonsense people are saying when you got 100,000 people that you are speaking to? You got 100,000 people whose lives you're making a difference of, and because of 10 or 20. You're going to delete your account and cut all those people off.
But it was a lot.
Look,
they were sending them messages, calling them like a dirty mulatto.
You know what?
Like,
and I told her to tell him, send them to me. Send them. You know what? They come out, send them to me. Because at this point, I'm telling you, I'm just tired of people messing with.
But some of them were also other big TikTokers. That was also.
I don't care if they're big TikTokers. Guess what? They don't matter anymore than your following.
What understanding is
it doesn't matter if the big TikTokers come after you. Your followers are what matter because that's who God put in front of you.
If you believe,
if God gave you whatever y'all want to talk about in the universe, I'm not worried about the details, right? Because most of you hopefully can understand what I'm truly saying. When you have these people in front of you and you're speaking life over them and you're saying something that makes a difference, that keeps them from slitting, from blowing, from jumping, when you're keeping people from doing things or snorting, when you keep people from doing things that equal death versus life, you have to keep things in perspective, because the only reason the devil's going to send people after you is because he doesn't want you to save those people. So when you get attacked, when you have these people coming after you, it's because that's a validation that you have purpose. That proves that you're doing something
also,
right.
Miss Shelley, just in case you saw me move this, I was not harassing my mom because I feel like when y'all go say something, but her arm was on this thingy and I don't want it to be accidentally doing drum cymbals on YouTube.
But anyway, you guys, I just keep everybody on here. Keep it in perspective.
Something I want to say though.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Something that I want to say that I think we need to all make a separate video on, or again, and that's why I'm so hard on like the intellectuals on here and everybody. That are saying, there are a couple of comments I saw this morning and last night that again have been really disturbing from like grown brilliant people that I refer my kids to. Yes, they're brilliant. Grown brilliant people that I refer like my kids to, because I call the internet kids my kids. Like I refer all these people to them, and seeing multiple of them, one of them like a well-known therapist, some of the other ones actually like 2 or 3 well-known therapists, and a couple are like professors, multiple are authors, and seeing all of them be like, oh, y'all just wanted to waste time on the internet. I'm like, did y'all not remember? Because they all consider themselves to be liberation workers. That like joy is fucking liberation. Sorry for my language to these people. I'm like, if people get on an app and all they do is scroll and giggle all day long, kids right now are dealing with some of the most unstable conditions we've seen in like 30 years. I don't care what anybody says. Things have not been this unstable for teenagers since probably when the Berlin Wall came down. And I would heavily stand behind that argument, because even 9/11, all these other things, they were events that happened, but then that was the main event. You have 40 main events happening concurrently. Like literally, it's not like one event that was the event of your life that's disturbing. It's everything. So if kids are so exhausted where they're just going to go and giggle all day on an app, that's important. And if you don't think that's important because you're like, it's distracting them from school, maybe that's because school doesn't need to be the focus of everything
You
right
know
now.
what? But you know what?
Maybe survival
But
is the focus.
You know what COVID did? COVID was a good lesson for me, and I've been blessed, truly blessed, to have the choice to be able to make the choice to show up in my kids' school or to show up in the boardroom. You know, and I could maneuver between the boardrooms and $1 million mergers or $1 million judgments. You know, and I say that, y'all, judgments. I've had the blessed ability to do that. And so
you don't want my mama coming up to your school.
Yeah, because I you know, I do stay. I stay and I talk to administrators, and
I loved it.
One day we'll do a one of these things about the fact that I had to actually pull my oil and my holy oil out on a principal once because I believed he was being used by the devil, and I told him so.
Wait, which
but
one
anyway,
was that? Never mind.
You know, it was funny in hindsight, but I was damn serious when I said it to his face, because to me, he was standing like a devil with a knife to my child's throat, and I was like, it's gonna be me or you, and you about to die. You know, so because I was like, I got this oil in my hand, and if I throw it on you, you're just gonna melt into the ground like a witch, and you're gonna die. You know, that was, and to be quite honest, things changed that day. Things changed. They really did change that day. And so for me, with all of these people and all of these things, you know, I mean, think about it, Ziggy. Think about it. You know, 1.5. You know, Ziggy, I'm a minister for now in the Potter's house, right? I think you rival Bishop's following, Ziggy. You make sure you see this for its worth. When you God, I don't believe God gave you your platform by accident. And when you speak life, you know, it reverberates throughout. So all these teachers and all these people, you know, I must have boogers in my eyes and she don't like it. It's okay, y'all. Anyway, anyway, for all these teachers and these people, when you go into these places, you know, having these luxuries, you know, and this is a job for you, yes, but it's also a calling, and it's a luxury, and it's a choice. But when you go in, you can say, oh, you know, how is the education system working here? Or you can say, how is it working there? But unless you've been in that classroom and you've watched Bebe's kids, you don't know what's going on in the classroom. You don't know why these students are bored. You don't, and if you don't listen to them, you're not listening to see if you're doing a good job. You're only listening to see how you can shut them up. Mm-hmm. And that's what I've seen when my kids were in school. The teachers weren't listening to see how they could be a better educator. Almost none of them. Most of the teachers were only trying to hear how they could shut the kids up and get them to fit back into the box they wanted to put them in.
And, you know, I work with the hood kids and a lot of stuff because, you know, she's from South Central. So I grew up Little Miss Proper, but with This Is My Mama. So, you know, lots of mixed things. And so, you know, I work with a lot of like the young hood kids, and people will be like, oh, like, they're not going to listen to this thing. And there are multiple times where people have come into an event and they'll be like, are they sitting still and listening to you? And I'm like, yeah. Like they were like, oh, they didn't give you any trouble, like they didn't talk back. I'm like, no.
And often they're smarter than her,
and I don't even
but nobody has given these children the respect, or their parents. Black parents care, Mexican parents care, you know, and some Asian parents don't give a damn. Okay, I'm just bucking the stereotypes, y'all. Some Asian parents care more about themselves than their children. So we can't always have these stereotypes that, oh, these parents care and these parents don't. You know, the parents do care. And when you respect those parents and you give them viable options, and you show them outcomes and reality, then they can do better. But right now, there's not a whole lot that a mom in South Central, a mom in Stop 6, a mom in Bed-Stuy. Well, Bed-Stuy used to be bad. Bed-Stuy is not as bad as it used to be. But a mom in East New York, there's not a whole lot that you're going to offer them that can help them, because it's just not there. And that, I believe that's intentional. But if you look at these educators and you look at these kids, these educators half the time what they're doing in their classroom is showing YouTube videos. Y'all didn't know that, huh? A lot of y'all who aren't really in the classroom, they're showing YouTube videos.
Shoot, when I was in middle school,
To
we
your
watched
kids.
YouTube videos.
So they're teaching your kids with YouTube videos.
It's Southeast DC.
And Southeast DC. There, she used to live there, y'all. So I forgot about that.
I lived in DC,
But-
not Southeast, but I worked in Anacostia a lot, so she's familiar.
Yeah. They thought she was crazy because she would go there at night by herself. But anyway, I'll tell you, these teachers and these educators who are claiming that TikTok was a distraction, most of them are not meant to be teachers. Most of them are not good, and most of them are self-serving or just stupid, because you have to move with the times. You have to move with what works for our young people. And if that's TikTok, Instagram, boo-boo-gram, mama-gram, then we're going to use that, because we have to do what makes our children viable. And I don't think these people care about the young people. I don't think they care.
I think they care, but they just care wrong. I think they want to care on their terms. I disagree. I think they care, but they care, but some of them, this is the problem with like intellectualism, especially. And this is one of the problems with age, right? Because I always tell people there's a balance, right? We should listen even if we don't agree, and we should be able to receive certain things that elders have, right? Elders are important, because even if they you know, I'm trying to find a nice way,
because they didn't get old by accident.
They're still old, right? So they've been here somehow, and so there's value. But that doesn't mean that we have to live by the standards that they've lived by.
And it doesn't mean they're always right,
and
just
it
because
doesn't mean they're always right,
you know,
at all.
I've ran into a lot of old fools lately, y'all.
But
I ran into some old people that I've held some old people in such respect because they're 83 and 93 years old. And I'm telling you, and I won't name the specific group. You wait for the book, y'all. Because I've got to wait for one to die before I write the book. And so, how old is she now? I think she's 96. So once she dies, then I'll write the book, because she's somewhat famous. But a lot of these old people, they're conniving. They're conniving, y'all. And a lot of old people have learned, because I'm old, I can walk up to you and disrespect you and expect you to respect me just because I'm old. Having worked with a lot of these old ladies, and I'm not in a sorority, but I am in several groups with a lot of old ladies, I've learned you got to be mindful and careful when dealing with them, because that age, they've had 20, 30 years to learn how to con you. They've had 40 years. Think about it. If I'm 54 and this lady's 90, I was going to say something. This woman, I was going to say something else. This woman has had 36 years on me. And one of them, she got mad when I told her, I said, you know what? I should have been smarter, because I forgot the fact that you got 36 years to learn how to con me and run game on me. That 36 years. And I'm trying to outsmart your old self. So, the smarter thing to do is to learn to just let them die and wait, because some of these old people, some of them are wise. Some of them got where they were because they've been conning and running games.
But some of them don't think that they're cons. That's the thing. That's why I think some of them don't. So I think there's a balance, because there's some people that have intentionally done nasty things, and there's some people that have done nasty things and don't realize they've done nasty things.
But you don't disrespect them. You don't, even when you want to call them, even when you want to call them all the names they deserve.
Listen, that doesn't mean you sit there.
Elders. No, you don't disrespect
No, but that doesn't mean you sit there. You can literally turn around and walk away.
Yeah,
this is the balance. People be like, don't disrespect. That doesn't mean I have to watch you tell me off. You want to talk to me crazy? I'm just going to turn around and leave. Like, that's not disrespectful. Leave.
Yeah, because they can't catch you because they too old to move that fast. And so
that's my balance. But
I'm gonna leave you with this, because I'm gonna go figure out dinner. There was this woman who was so nasty, and I had the little voice in my head that was like, Ziggy, breathe. And I was but internally I'm just like, she was I have no idea what her issue was.
Oh no,
I was breathing the wrong way.
Yeah.
She had already yelled at this woman. We were doing volunteer stuff. And she had yelled at this woman who was in my group, and she was like, "Hey, you think you could come up here looking like some hussy heifer?" Like all this other stuff, and I was just like, "Yeah." And she was like, "Hey, you!" I literally went, "Girl," and I turned around, and she was like, "You don't turn your back to me." I said, "I'll stand right here." I stood up on 3. I walked backwards up 3 steps. I said, "Come say it to my back, daddy. I'll stand right here." Because I'm thinking, I know you can't walk up these steps. I know you can't. You needed 4 people to help you get up out that chair. I said, "You standing your?" I said, "Okay." And she went, "Well, you have a good day," and walked away. I'm over here. I'm like, yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
But I just stood there and I was like, "I'm more than happy to do what you have to say, but I'm going to be up here, okay?" And she,
Yeah.
And that's how it should be.
"You too, think alike. You too, baby. Okay, all right." Bye.
Yeah. It's hard. It's hard, but there's a balance. There's a place there. So, because I have some of the old people that when Trump won the election, they've been around long enough to tell me, baby, it's fine. Everything's going to be fine. We've been through this before with Eisenhower or some other president from 1937, because they're literally that old. And so it's nice to have the other side of the elders. It's nice to have teachers who were teachers because they were called and meant to be teachers. Some of those old ladies were the best teachers that you've ever had.
You can still be called though to be a teacher and also still have your demographic. That's the biggest thing. I think some of these people are like, everybody should listen how I need to listen. I'm like, anyways, yeah.
I'm leaving so I can go.
Enjoy. You still in England?
Yeah.
Yep. Enjoy.
Thank you.
It was nice seeing you today. All right. Y'all have a good
Bye,
one.
Ziggy, babe. We love our baby.
Still, even sticking with this vein of the conversation and why we're on here.
Intellectualism. That's something that I wanted to bring up. Because I think that's intellectualism.
I don't know what you're talking about.
And you know how when somebody,
I bet y'all feel the same way, huh?
Okay, yeah. I mean,
I don't know what that's because I've got a PhD. I'm an intellectual, of course. I'm a degree.
So intellectualism would be
scientist, but
okay.
I don't know.
Let me give an example. Let me give an example. This item that is used to light the way of the nighttime and provides a sense of specialty olfactory experience. It's a fucking candle.
Look, see,
I'm sorry. Okay, it's a candle.
So that's what you're describing as intellectualism.
Yes,
is overly.
It's a literal. Sorry, it's a candle. So when people are like, no, it's a candle. That's what I define as intellectualism. And I think people get very stuck. Dad, can you text Jazzy? When people get stuck in that, they don't understand that they get obsessed with this idea of having to say things in the most unnecessary, dramatic ass way. And I'm not saying that sometimes you don't want to talk about things from a certain level, because sometimes the terminology matters, right? These things matter. But if you're holding something up and you're explaining it in the most extreme way for no reason, that's what I consider intellectualism. That's what I consider this really dangerous thing that has become a part of most left factions in general, any form of like progress or like forward thought. That has become deeply embedded into everything that we do. Also, hi Australians, because some of these same people, right? They are on here and they're talking about like, oh, like people just don't know better. It's the same conversations that have been happening about Southern states and people basically saying that people in the South just can't be smart to make their own decisions. Like autonomy, maybe that's where I'm getting to. Oh my God, autonomy. That's the biggest problem with everything right now.
What do you mean?
People feeling like people can't make decisions for themselves. Because when you talk about people being like, oh, Beyonce is propaganda, and you're from the South, so you would know better, right? It's like,
it's not.
You can make your own decisions.
It's a lack of respect for people's
autonomy
and perspective.
Autonomy.
The one thing about
their ability to literally determine what they should and shouldn't be doing.
Well, look, living where we live, I can respect.
No, don't go too far aside though.
Well, no, I can I can respect all the old boys.
I don't want to rehash
that have those yellow signs around my neighborhood. The ones that have the Trump signs. I can truly respect the fact that they feel a certain kind of way, even if it means indirectly you hate me, right? They don't feel they hate me. They don't understand that some of the foundation for what they've been fed is rooted in hate, but they have feelings. And I can respect the fact that, when they say America first, I can respect that. And they're not all wrong. And I think when you disrespect people's opinions, is because not only you think you're right and you know more than they do. When you talk about they don't want you to have autonomy, it's out of a need to dominate, a need to control. And so yeah, she's
okay, I had to bring
she
this.
bought these patches, and so
this patch.
the patch is kind of making fun of the movement.
Oh, it's gonna be backwards on Instagram.
Of, where it says, don't tread on me, and it actually says, it's
no step on snake.
It says, it says no step on snake, and so
she brought up the elephant.
No, because when
it's
they
so
say,
pitiful.
And most people who
step on snake,
when they put the flag up for "Don't Tread on Me," they don't really even know what it means. It actually was rooted in a civil unrest movement that was not based in supremacy. And so you have to respect people's opinions and feelings. And I'll go back to some of my biblical foundations, y'all. I'm gonna go back to no, seriously, because the one thing I love about my ministry school and Bishop Jakes and y'all, I don't want to hear swallowed not one time. Okay. Anyhow, my bishop, in terms of the schooling I had to have, and you guys may not be aware of this, but even as a minister, we were taught to be respectful of other people's faiths. That doesn't mean we worship them or we put them first, but I can respect and have a conversation with any Muslim, with any Hindu, with any Buddhist. I can respectfully have conversations with them, because I am not trying to lord over them or tell them that my religion is right, because I don't have to tell you that. I just have to live my life. I just have to be who I'm going to be and let my own light shine. I would like to
add, I have very controversial views about religion. So,
but this is not just religion. This is faith. This is life and lifestyle. And my point is, when you learn to respect other people and their opinions and where they are, then you don't have that intellectual type of, what's that term you called it?
Intellectualism.
No, the one after that, lording over people, trying to.
No, I'm saying they're taking people's autonomy.
Right. Okay. The autonomy. When you try and take people's autonomy, there's a lot of preachers and pastors and churches that do that. That's not what we're about. And that's not what you should be about. You can always come to a healthy conclusion together where you can agree to disagree without having to try and stomp on somebody else's beliefs or feelings. And so, for autonomy, it is what it is. It really is what it is. And your autonomy doesn't mean you have a right to step on my autonomy, and I guess that's a philosophical conversation, isn't it? Because if I live in all of my rights and I have all of my rights, at some point, my rights are going to step on your rights.
Not necessarily.
Yeah.
No, that's not true.
Yeah.
That's only
my right to freedom of speech.
No.
And it's saying any damn thing I want to say at some point is going to step on your freedom.
I don't agree.
I would, but when it goes too far, it does.
We don't have to agree. I disagree with the basis of what you're saying, but I don't have to get into
Why?
it. Because your rights are only going to step on other people's rights if your rights are based in the harm of another person in the first place. There's
no.
No difference of opinion.
What would you call rights being based on the harm of another person?
Industrialism, colonialism, white supremacy. So if you're a white person, your idea of rights are going
that's wrong. But that's wrong, because those aren't rights. They're just wrong.
That's what I'm saying, though.
But when I say rights, basic human rights.
But that's not
the
conversation where you disagree is not the same as rights. That's the thing. People can disagree about everything, and it doesn't have to deal with any. But anyway, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. It's too much for my brain today. I don't have, you can say what you want to say. I don't have to agree. See,
I'm just thinking, y'all.
We can literally disagree.
So when you have these big conversations, your brain has to stop and recalculate. So
any questions from folks, or like final things? Because, I do want to be respectful of the fact that it is Sunday.
Chad waved.
And hey, Chatty Bear. I don't know if he's still on though.
I can't tell who's on. But it's okay. And there's some people over there too.
Are there any like final thoughts or questions from folks? Because I feel like we've said a lot, and there's a lot to be said, but also it is Sunday, and I think that some people should go and stare at the silliest things in the world and breathe and prepare themselves for the week. Because I have a professor from one of my first classes that apparently believes that you should write a 600 to 1200 word paper
Oh,
before the
don't
first class. I
remind
am never letting it
me.
go. That's the dumbest thing
Oh.
that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. Why? And I'm sorry if the professor sees this. I don't know if she'd be on here.
I agree. I
But
agree with the professor.
Why would you have me write a 600 to 1200 word paper before the first time I meet you?
So I can get to know you.
That's stupid.
I don't think it's stupid. I think you're
It's
just
dumb.
lazy.
It's not about being lazy. I don't know what you like. I don't know what your grading style is.
It's not
I don't
about a
even-
grade. It's about your. I think the professor is
dumb,
trying
then.
to get your response.
Then what you
Trying to
should,
see how are you going to respond to me demanding
I don't like
something
it.
up front,
and I think it's dumb.
especially since she's an Oibo lady.
And I think it's
So
dumb.
because she's a white lady, she's testing you.
It's dumb.
You know,
It's
she's
dumb.
testing you to see if I ask you this, how are you going to respond? It's just like they do their husbands and their men sometimes. Let me see what he's going to say or do if I ask him this. And I mean,
Would you love me if I was a worm?
yes, it's that. I mean, and guess what? You know, just answer the question.
Would you love me if I
Why
was
are you
still a worm?
overthinking? The only
That's the
reason you
joke.
don't want to answer is because you're being lazy.
No, because
Oh no, it's because you don't want to
no,
do the
she
work.
wants me to read some nonsense.
Because you don't want to do the work. Do the work.
not before the
Anime?
first class.
Okay, I know you don't like that.
She knows I don't like abuse jokes.
Y'all,
Anyways.
look, no. The thing is, this is generational. We've always said some anime stuff, and it's a little closer for us because
Stop clicking stuff.
my mother
You just click
actually
random
my
buttons
mother
again.
actually met Tina Turner and all that stuff, and they used to call my mama the other Tina Turner because she was a clever and professional pool player and all this other stuff. But anyway,
Y'all can't see her hands.
Um,
She be going like this and touching stuff, and I think she just clicked a random.
I did
sound
not
button.
click it. I
I heard it click.
I wiped my spit off of the machine
Just
because
stop touching the
somehow
machine.
I was
Stop
talking
touching
and
it.
I saw spittle
Just stop
fly
touching
onto
it.
the
Stop
machine.
touching it. She rubs
So
things
I
like this when
took
she's
it off.
talking. So she'll take something and then just go like this and rub it like it's a cat. And she don't even
I was
realize
just rubbing my spit off the machine, y'all.
she was rubbing the
'cause I
table
saw
earlier.
that
She was like
somehow
this.
when I was talking, I held enough spit in my mouth for it to land on.
I'm
the
sorry if
machine.
anybody heard a weird
Sounds.
sound on YouTube.
Wiping that. There were no weird sounds.
It might have gone.
Anyway, the thing is, we have to make sure that in all of this, even with our intellectualism, that you don't overthink things. Don't overthink things. Just keep it real, y'all. Right now we had a lot of upheaval. It's a lot of stuff going on. I just got a message I saw from the Potter's House team that some of our team is headed out to LA to see what more they can do, because we already have a team of people out in Los Angeles helping with trying to supply people with some of the basic needs. And so keep it in perspective. Some people have just lost everything they have. And only God can judge why they've lost it. That's not for us to do.
If you
Even
agree
though
with that.
I'm very good at judging y'all, but I'm trying to stay out of that zone. And so there are a lot of people that aren't doing well that need help. And if you're one of those and you happen to be watching, DM us your information and I will send it to our team, because we do have an entire disaster relief team that's on a plane right now. Literally, the head of the team is on her way to LA. Some of the team members have been there already this week. And so if you guys are those people who are really needing resources and needing help, let us know. Once again, like I told Ziggy, you have this platform for a reason. You have reach. We have eyes on us for a reason. And we don't take those eyes for granted. We don't take for granted the time that you would allow us to speak into your life or to read what you have to speak into ours. So we're grateful that you're here. We hope that we've said or done something today that's been good. That's been a blessing.
I like
That's
how you just started
uplifted you a
ending it
little
without
bit,
actually-
Well, oh, sorry, y'all. I went into benediction by accident. But anyway,
Sorry, y'all. She's been very religious this time.
I'm not religious. It's not religious. I'm a person of faith who lives their faith in action. We live our faith in action.
There are a lot of references
So
some
the
people are not
author.
going to get on here. So
Oh, I'm sorry. You know what? Look, those who have
I-
enough of the devil in them to be repelled by my words, I'm sorry.
Mom, that's not how that works.
Okay,
Okay,
whatever.
I don't agree
I'm
with that.
sorry.
Y'all know I believe everybody should be in the space. I don't believe anybody's right
But
or
if
wrong.
they're repelled by the words
That's-
coming out of
that's
my
so- Don't
mouth,
say that. That's
you know,
irritating. Don't say
that's
that.
not
Don't say that.
irritating.
Y'all should know I don't believe there is such thing as a right or wrong religion. I don't care if that pisses anybody off. So I know I see her doing this. So I want to make sure nobody feels like that's, you
No,
know,
I think they
not
know.
for them.
I think people know.
I like to make
your
sure though.
intentions when you're clear, which is why I'm trying to wrap up with an offer of help.
Thank you for wrapping up without asking me about anything or seeing if I was trying to conclude on something.
Well, it was
Go
just
ahead.
that's me concluding for me.
Mom, that's how
So-
you don't get to conclude twice. Once it's over, it's over. You
No,
know how you're just
Lisa,
complaining about when
I
people
can
are
say
doing that?
I can say my ending,
Okay.
and then turn it over to you.
She's wrapping it up.
You know,
Let her finish
look,
wrapping
she
up.
didn't mess my whole wrap up, y'all.
I'm sorry.
You know,
Because she just started ending it, and I was just trying to get some more questions from people.
I don't have nothing else to say, so I was gonna wrap my stuff up with an offer of help and compassion, y'all. But she didn't took my compassion.
I was
away and
trying to
turned
see
it
if
into-
people needed anything else.
She didn't turn me into a religious zealot, but that's you know, you so wrong. But anyway, we're here, and we hope we said it. I hope I've said or done something that has made a difference, and I would hope that we can have another conversation, that we can come together again and just have some fun, have some light. Let's bring some light to your day. So anyhow, let's see if Abby has anything else left to say, because I don't see no questions.
Well, I was trying to ask about questions while we were doing whatever, but I've gotten my energy dip is on its way. So I have like this sleep app that I've been watching and keeping up with, and it tells me I'm having an energy
and
dip.
Y'all forgive us for not being together enough to actually answer.
There's nobody on there. I've
most
already
of your
double-checked.
questions and stuff.
Sorry, no.
On there,
I have. So some of my little TikTok babies are on YouTube, but they would have sent something if they had something else.
Okay.
So those are two of them are my longtime TikTok babies, because I feel like I have TikTok children. So
that's okay.
I be calling people,
as long as they're okay,
my digital kids.
No,
but that's
now
fine.
I get to take this hot robe off. So I can have my
end.
T-shirt on.
Why did you have to have it on in the first place?
Because I had no bra. So
they're just titties. Let the titties free.
Well, we too old for that.
I'm sorry if there are people from the churches watching this and feel offended by my behaviors.
They have titties too.
But
I'm saying.
No, once you become a minister, your titties
see.
just vanish. You have to take them off and put them on a rack and walk away.
For some of us, that may be true.
You must be tittyless to walk in the way of Christ.
Yeah,
Anyways,
maybe that's why I got in trouble. Anyway,
I've probably offended some of you all, and I'm not sorry, but I am sorry that you had to find out this way that I be doing the most. Anyways, just charge the inappropriate behavior to me, not to her.
No, let's go. Let's do the religious thing. Charge it to my head and not my heart.
That's not the religious thing. That's the Southern thing.
I thought it was a religious thing.
No, it's just a Southern thing. Because the white ladies everywhere will be like, charge it to my hand, not my heart.
Bless your heart.
Bless your heart. I want to leave you guys with just this.
This thing is so ugly.
Good morning, pineapple.
Pineapple, looking very good and very nice.
That's how I want to close this. And we will see y'all later. Send me messages if you have questions. Thank you all for joining us. This has been Aviola and Minister K, also known as Mink. And this has been Mink Squared. Follow Mama stuff. I have a new clapback page I'm going to try and finish doing. So y'all can go on there for all the spicy anger that I'm going to be directing at racist. All right.
And anybody who's wrong.
Yes, but especially the racist. Racist can get it any day. All right. Love y'all. I shall see y'all later. Goodbye, my TikTok babies. Send me messages.
Bye, y'all.